Hey guys and girls, welcome to an incredibly beautiful Sunday afternoon in southern Oklahoma. 75 degrees. You can see that the wind is hardly blowing at all, just a little whisper of a breeze every now and then. Mostly it's pretty much dead calm, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It is what in here in Oklahoma we call Indian summer. It's the fall of the year, which really could be wintertime really easily. Here we are getting toward the middle of November. We're still in the first part of November, but getting pretty close to the middle of November. And we haven't had any freezes at all. We've had only here at the Eagle, only a couple of days below 40 degrees. I think one at 39 and one at 37. It was 42 or something this morning, which is kind of chilly in the morning, but boy, it doesn't stay chilly very long at all. It doesn't stay chilly. So the weather is fantastic. We've been blessed in November with 6 inches of rain here at the Eagle. They've got 9 and 10 inches in a lot of places. Got about 10 inches of rain over on Lake Tenkiller, where my son and daughter live, and all of my grandkids and great-grandkids live. And so that's they've really been blessed with a lot of rain over there. We fished a little bit in November, and what fishing we've done has been spectacular. We caught a lot of big fish. They're not in the shallow yet. We're going to try maybe Monday and Tuesday of this week to try to find some shallow fish, perhaps on Lake Tenkiller and maybe another lake or two over there around eastern Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma. I'm not real sure. But we're going to do some looking around and see if we can't find some bass or white bass or whatever in shallow water. Might even fish Lake Texoma, which is not far from here, before this week is over or next. But the fall fishing is fantastic. It's spectacular. A lot of places where they had the high rains, those high rains and water running in has moved a lot of fish up shallow. Here in southern Oklahoma, it was so dry that our creeks really didn't change a whole lot. I've got creeks that run into Big Canyon Lake that's not running right now, even with that 6 inches of rain. The creek here on this lake is not running through the lake. The lake is still below the spillway, and it's been that way since about August, I believe, or early September. So it was just so dry, and even the big rains that we've had, a lot of it soaked in. But we are promised more rain in November. November is usually a fairly wet month. Usually rains a little bit around Thanksgiving. So this is a fantastic time of the year, because if you're an outdoorsman, it's absolutely perfect, because the weather is gorgeous. You've got these good cool mornings, which are great for hunting, and you got beautiful warm afternoons, which are great for fishing and hunting as well. It's precious out there in a deer stand right now. I guarantee you, it's just absolutely perfect to sit out there in a deer stand in this kind of weather. It's unbelievable. A lot of hunting seasons are open. Duck hunting season's open in quite a few places. Quail hunting season, pheasant hunting season, as well as deer season just about everywhere. At least with a bow. Some places with a rifle. A lot of places with a rifle as well. Also, muzzleloading season in various states. A lot of hunting open in Texas of all kinds down there, and so it's a spectacular time of the year to be alive, the fall in America. So we got a lot of things going on. One of the things that's going on right now with Jimmy Houston Outdoors is one of our sponsors, Mercury Outboards, Mercury Engines. They've got a big Mercury giveaway, and if you haven't entered that contest to win that Mercury, if you're a fisherman and you own a boat, even if you don't own a boat, you need to enter this contest, because Mercury Motors is giving away an engine, a Mercury engine up to 300 horsepower. That's a $32,000 plus value, and it's basically a repower program, so you can win a new motor for your boat to repower your engine. A lot of people repower their outboards this time of the year. As opposed to buying a brand new boat and motor and trailer, they'll just simply put a new engine on. It's a perfect time to do it, and you could win that engine. And I don't know that there's any restrictions if you don't have a boat to winning that engine. I'm not really positive of that, but you can enter at jimmyhouston.com, or you can look on any one of a number of our videos on any of our social media platforms. And there's a QR code on the screen of those videos. You can scan that QR code, and it will take you to the entry form. Be sure to enter under Jimmy Houston. I'm having a contest with my buddies Bill Dance and Hank Parker, a pie in the face contest, and obviously the winner gets to put the pie in the face of the two losers, or second and third place, as those guys like to call it. But anyway, be sure and enter under Jimmy Houston, so we'll win that contest. That will culminate at next year's Bassmaster Classic, which I believe is in Fort Worth, Texas, and so that'll be a fun thing to watch. Should draw a huge crowd when people get to see one of these three legends put a pie in the face of the other two. And also, I think that particular day you have to wear a T-shirt, at least for a certain period of time, with the winning legend's picture on it. So those guys with a T-shirt with my picture on it would certainly make both of them look a little bit better. I'll admit to that. So we'll see what happens on that. But be sure to enter that win a Mercury engine. You're only allowed one entry, so it's going to be a fair contest. Everybody's going to only have one chance at it. and you might win that Mercury outboard. It doesn't have to be a 300 horsepower. Maybe you need a 200 or a 250 or a 90 horsepower or whatever. You can win a brand new Mercury engine for your boat, and might take that 300 horsepower and trade that engine in on a new boat and motor both if you use the smaller boat and motor package. So it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, lots of things going on. We will have some Black Friday discounts in our Jimmy Houston Outdoors newsletter. Those of you that are getting the newsletter will have a special discount code that you'll be able to use for all Jimmy Houston Outdoor merchandise. We have a lot of great merchandise for Christmas on our jimmyhouston.com. So if you are not receiving that newsletter, you can go to jimmyhouston.com and give us your email address. That's all we need. We send you the newsletter by email. It's got a lot of great stuff in there, a lot of great stuff from a lot of our sponsors, and a lot of how-tos, a lot of videos, all kinds of tips on the outdoors, and just an absolutely fantastic newsletter. I think it's the best newsletter in the outdoors personally. Well, then my little prejudice on that. My grandson Kyle does that, and he does an outstanding job with that newsletter. So if you're not receiving our newsletter, if you'll just go to jimmyhouston.com and sign up for that newsletter, it's absolutely free, it doesn't cost you anything, and you will also get a special discount code that are for newsletter users only. Newsletter users only. We've got lots of books. We got t-shirts, rod and reels, Lucky Strike fishing tackle, all kinds of things available at jimmyhouston.com for Christmas gifts, or buy yourself a gift. Christmas around the corner. Obviously, our Catch a Better Life book and Catch of the Day book are outstanding gift items for someone that you love. Those are in the gift book category anyway. So we celebrated Veterans Day at church this morning. I think churches all around the nation celebrated Veterans Day. Veterans Day is actually tomorrow, will be the official celebration of Veterans Day. You know, if you're watching television, I'm pretty confident most all the networks will be giving a great big salute to all of our veterans, and I definitely do that myself. I salute all of our veterans. We have hundreds of thousands of people fighting all over the world, stationed all over the world, putting in their time and effort and service to the United States of America all over the world to keep us free, to keep us where we can walk into a church on Sunday morning. There's places around the world where if you try to walk into a church on a Sunday morning, you absolutely have an opportunity to get killed. You have the possibility of being hunted down and killed just for your belief in Jesus Christ. So we are fighting for freedoms that are not free. We all know that. And I want a big thank you for all the veterans, past, present, and future. As our preacher, Chopper McCartney, said, there'll be a lot of you out there that will be veterans in the future. That our military is a great place to be. And we have the greatest military in the world, and we are probably going to build that military up a whole lot more over the next 4 years, because it's very important in this great country. We have the greatest country in the history of the world, and there's a lot of other countries that would like to have this country right here of ours. And so we're going to have to probably, as long as this country is in existence, probably have to fight to keep it in existence. We'll have to keep to fight the great form of government that we have, which is a constitutional republic. And we're still going by the Constitution that those geniuses put together back about 250 years ago. So it's an incredibly great country. We had an election this past week. Some of you are just absolutely elated about the outcome of the election. Some of you are not. I would recommend to everybody, and you know, with the exception of about the last 20 years, all of my life, by the way, I've lived a long time, so for about the first 60 years of my life, roughly, I don't know exactly, I could probably figure it out, we had elections, and I started voting elections as soon as I was old enough to vote in an election, and I voted in presidential elections, county elections, state elections, all kinds of elections all my life. And a lot of the times the person I voted for became the holder of that office. A lot of times they did not. But for probably the first 60 years of my life, and whomever we elected to that office, whether it be president or county commissioner, we got behind that individual and we worked with them and tried to work with them and wished them the best and tried to help them all we could for them to become the best county commissioner or whatever it might be, the best governor. We've had great governors here in Oklahoma. I have fished with several of them, and great governors, both parties, both Republicans and Democrats. And we have one of the best states in the union right here. Our state is very physical sound. We've got a good education system here. Our teachers, under the current administration, has got 2 or 3 pay raises, and we keep trying to pay our teachers more and more money. We still don't pay them near what they ought to be paid. we've got good leadership here in the state of Oklahoma, and have had, and good leadership from both parties, as a matter of fact. And for the most part, the people in Oklahoma get behind their governor. They get behind their elected officials, their congressmen, their local congressmen and senators, their county commissioner, their sheriff. And we get behind these people because they're folks just like us. They're Oklahomans, and they're wanting to make Oklahoma better. The new regime that we have here and we'll have in Washington, D.C. are going to be working hard to make America better. That's actually their slogan. That's what they've promised, to make America great. And I have spent a day in Washington, D.C. at the White House with President Trump. He couldn't have been more gracious. I don't know if I'll get to do another day during this second administration or not. Probably not, to be honest with you. But I remember back when President Joe Biden was inaugurated in January 4 years ago, that I had a comment right here on this social media from a friend, Adam, down in Dallas, Texas. And Adam is a good Christian man and comments a lot on all of our social media networks. And he comments a lot about things that happen. He's a businessman, travels and flies on an airplane a lot, does business every week, and loves Texas just as much as I love Oklahoma. And but he commented when President Biden was inaugurated as president that he didn't vote for President Biden, but he wished that he wished him to become the best president the United States of America ever had, and that he would be judged by several things while he was in office, but he was going to be behind him 100%, even though he didn't vote for him. And that's the way that we handle the presidency of the United States and all elected officials. Pretty much the first 60 years of my life, probably 20 years or so ago, the political parties started really pitting people against people in order to try to get elected, and it caused a lot of divisiveness and divisiveness and it caused a lot of political hatred, they call it, in a lot of situations. And that's what happened here in the United States over the last 20 years. And there's a lot of people that will hope that President Trump is the worst president that we've ever had. There were several people probably hoped that President Biden was the worst president we ever had. And this is absolutely not the way that I've done it all my life here in Oklahoma. It's not the way we should. Like I said, about the last 20 years, that's changed. We need to change that back the way it was, because the president, whomever that is, whether he belongs to your party or doesn't belong to your party, or you may not even, may be independent, not even in a Democrat or Republican party. That is our president. That's our president. Right now, President Biden is our president. And even though he's only got a couple months left in office, I wish him the best of luck in those 2 months in office, because the things that he does and the decisions he makes in these last 2 months is going to affect America. And it's going to affect Americans, and I happen to be one of those, and very, very proud to be an American. So I believe that if our country will get behind the presidents, start getting behind the presidents, and one of the good things about it, 4 years goes by way faster than any of us want 4 years to go by, and when that 4 years goes by, the country will have a chance to choose another president, and since this president can only be one term, it will be a different president that we have 4 years from now. And might be the same party as the president right now. It might be a different party. It might be an independent. I don't know. We don't know what will happen in 4 years. But Adam, in his note to President Biden, mentioned several things. And one of the things that he mentioned, the first thing on the list, he mentioned several things, and they were economic factors. And he said, I just want to remind you, President Biden, that in Dallas, Texas, gas is $1.99 a gallon. I think here in Oklahoma it was about $2.09 at that time. The stock market is such and such. The inflation rate is such and such, which is basically zero at that time. Probably 1/10% or 0.2% or something like that. Basically zero inflation. The interest rates on loans was so much percent, and went on and on and on. Unemployment, and listed several factors. 10 or 12 or 15 factors, economic factors, pretty much all of them, that he said, this is what you will be judged on, and I hope you make all of these situations, at least as the good ones, stay as good as they are now, or make them even better. And honestly, I think that that's the least that Americans can ask out of our new president, President Trump, that will take office in January, is to do the exact same thing. And so you might want to just sit down and make a list of the things economically that's important to you. what the rate of inflation is, what the unemployment is, what the the amount of people that can buy a home, what the interest rate is when you go buy a car or a house, or what the interest rate is on your credit card, and then look at that list that you make 4 years now to determine that if you want to stay with that individual or not. Now it'll be a different individual, obviously, because President Trump will not be able to run again this next time around. But I think if we would do that, if we would all get behind the presidency and the media, of all people, the media really, and it doesn't matter whether it's a liberal media or conservative media, they can't either one of them say anything nice about the other one, it seems. And so if the media would get in there and get behind our president, because honestly, when you run down, the media especially, run down on national television, national social media, national whatever, newspapers and everything, when they run down the president of the United States, are really running down America, or running down basically about half of the Americans. This was a landslide election, particularly in the Electoral College, but only about 4.5 million votes difference in the actual vote. So basically about half of the people wanted the other person in as president of the United States. So, but I think if we get in there and everybody fights for this country, everybody gets behind our local politicians, whether we voted for them or not. We want the best county commissioner. We want the best sheriff. We want the best local congressman. We want the best senators. The senators are amazing because each state is allowed 2 of them. Our senators here in Oklahoma, our senators here in Oklahoma are just as important as the 2 senators in California or New York or Texas or Florida, which are really, really, really big states. And yet our little old state of Oklahoma, we have 2 senators. Rhode Island, that little old state. New Hampshire, that little old state, has got 2 senators. So the senators are really important. But whether it's your local congressman, your county sheriff, your county commissioner, your mayor of your local town, whatever it is, whether that person is in your party or not, or you voted for them or not, once they're elected, get in there and try to help them become the best that they can be. I've taken elected officials fishing of both parties many times. And can I tell you, when we get out there on that lake fishing, the fish don't care whether they're a Republican or a Democrat. And I'll tell you what, those individuals, they don't care at that time whether they're a Republican or a Democrat either. They're out there trying to have fun catching fish. So let's try to get this country going all in the right direction, which is peace and prosperity, and everybody having a great time and building this country up and making more opportunities. And one of the things that we've always wanted to do, and I've worked my entire lifetime to leave things better for my kids and my grandkids, and I'm still working at 80 years old to leave things better for my kids and my grandkids. And we want to also leave a country better for our kids and our grandkids. So let's love America enough that we can love it even if the mayor is not the mayor we voted for, even if the governor in your state is not the governor you voted for, even if the president of the United States is not the president you voted for. 4 years from now, we'll have another president. There's been a lot of presidents in my lifetime I didn't vote for. Several I did vote for, but there's been a lot of them that I didn't vote for. And can I tell you, I voted for presidents of both parties. I voted for governors of both parties. I voted for county commissioners and mayors and congressmen of both parties. And because I want the best man or woman in that office that can do the job. And if it didn't happen to be the person gets in there that's not the one I voted for, I'm going to support them 100%. I'm going to disagree with them on a lot of things, just like I'll disagree with the ones I did vote for. I disagree with them on many things as well. That's what makes this constitutional republic we have here in America so special, is that we live under that and we thrive and we succeed under that, in spite of whether we voted for them or not, in spite of whether they're on our team or not. Because once they're in that office, they are the controller and the owner of that office. And yeah, we can complain when they do things wrong. As long as we voted, we got a right to complain, I think. But we want to be behind them 100%, and we want to pray for them every day that they make the right decisions, that they do the right things. It's better for America. So let me get off of that soapbox. A bunch of you are going to write me nasty letters and say that they're not going to support the president no matter what. But that's your right to do that in America. You've got a right to not support the president, or you've got a right to not support your governor, or not support your mayor, or not support your county commissioner, or your congressman, or your senator in whatever state you may live in. You have a right to do that. But boy, I tell you what, it's going to be a lot better country if we just all get in there and support the people that we elect to office, even if it's the one that we didn't vote for, that we elect for office. So, guys and girls, this is going to be a great week coming up. We're going to get to fish a day or two this week, which is always great when you do that. A spectacular time of the year. If you fish, if you hunt, I'm telling you, this is the best thing to do it. Best time of the year for that. If you haven't entered to win a Mercury motor, enter that Mercury motor contest. Enter under Jimmy Houston, not Hank Parker or Bill Dance. Don't enter under Hank Parker or Bill Dance. Enter under Jimmy Houston, and we're going to have a lot of fun in that. Somebody's going to win a brand new Mercury motor, and it's going to be a motor up to a 300 horsepower. So even if you got a big old boat, now if I was to repower one of mine, I'd have a 200. I'd get a 250 horsepower. Is what I would do. But I can't enter the contest. Hank and Bill can't enter it either. You know, and they either get to be the recipient of a delicious pie, or they get to be the DoorDash of a delicious pie. One or the other. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. Fish lucky. And remember, I sure do love you.